Looking at the foundations of any Skyrim load order, we're always quick to point out the really big mods overhauling our flora, weather, and general landscape. Now, while these are of the utmost importance in how we ultimately perceive graphical fidelity and visuals, we cannot ignore the significance of more minuscule modifications, vital to our immersion in the way they fill our surroundings with a sense of realism and beauty. And that is why today we're taking a good look at these essential smaller Skyrim mods for you to get the most out of your Skyrim visuals. 7 of them to be specific. Why? Well, 7 is a nice number, and good things come in 7. And it's also a nice way to limit myself so I can be consistent with these uploads for once in my life. And so, to start off, we're taking a look at a small yet impactful mod based off my favorite pine forest grass available on the Nexus, Cathedral 3D Pine Grass. See, cause one of the very best things about this grass overhaul is the way it adds these stunning looking clovers. With that in mind, the creator, Dr. Jacopo, decided to release a separate standalone mod containing only these clovers in Cathedral 3D Cover Plant. And that, as you can see by the quality of these, was a very wise decision. Dr. Jacopo simply given us the option to have these clovers in our game while using any grass mod of our own choice. It's become a must for my flora in any of my mod lists ever since it came out. And you may be like, but Gim, it's just a clover, who cares? Brother, nah-ah. These are game-changing, like adding salt and pepper to fries, parmesan to pasta, a kick to a Thalmor's nuts. It just adds that ingredient you might feel like you're missing to make the full meal, an extra pop to the visuals that look good both from far away and up close. This is as close as you'll get to photorealism in a video game. From stem and up, these clovers are fully 3D, and I just can't get enough of them. Moving on to the lakes and rivers to a different sort of green, we've got the highly satisfying mod Animated Water Lily by Skyrim Mods. While the popular lilies from Halifax's Water Plants mod do look very good, they're just missing that floaty feel needed to bring them to that next level, which is exactly what the Animated Water Lily mod provides, expanding the meshes of the lilies with animated parts, giving both the leaves and blossoms that sway and movement as they delicately float along the water's surface. Yup, these are aesthetic as fuck, and make these bodies of water a lot more interesting. And from the same mod author, we also find the mod Animated Tentacles. Nope, not like that. I'm talking about the glowing mushrooms, bringing that same aestheticness to the dark caves, with more dynamic glowing mushrooms that already stand out quite enough in their base form, so why not add more to them? In this case, tentacles that rather than being all lifeless and static, spring to life with these slithering movements as they sway back and forth. Adding movement to static in-game objects for the sake of it is one thing, but whether we're talking about lush lily pads or magical glowing mushrooms, the addition of animated meshes makes a lot of sense, and once you stumble upon them in your adventures, while they naturally look compelling to the eye, they just feel organic and right, which in many cases should be what nature-themed flora overhauls aim to do. Dr. Jacopo's 3D death bell certainly does. Created from photos of real alpine bellflowers, this mod alone is already enough to get the best possible looking death bells, but shortly after its release, Dovanique altered the texture to come out with these spooky looking bad boys for Halloween in the Periwinkle Poison Replacer. But following popular demand, the death bells were taken again a step further in the mod Dovanique's Diverse Death Bells, a mod adding 10 diverse high-quality death bells to the game, each distributed with a 10% random chance to spawn through the use of Power of 3's base object swapper. You know, seeing how what started out as quite a simple mod has been taken further by other people within the community is quite a nice thing. If Dr. Jacopo's first release is the equivalent of the Super Saiyan form, then this final one by Dovanique is certainly Super Saiyan 3, even coming with an ENB light option for those darker evenings. Man, this is peak death bells, deserving of a place in any load order. Next we have what I have to say is the most underrated mod we'll be taking a look at today. True Torches SC by Chrisinx or INXS. And you might be thinking, oh, another torch mod. Nah, my guy, this is the torch mod, providing elementally true realistic fire motion behavior, so you'll quite simply end up with the best looking torches ever to be seen in our long Skyrim modding history. I mean, it even comes with an optional laboratory for you to see and decide upon your favorite versions in real time. Dividing the torches into groupings of the standard and medieval one, you'll be able to go pick from the very minute details. From the motion itself, you know, whether you want a girthy fire or a more vertical slim one, with different types of spark, combustion and flame trail behaviors, you can put together unique torches. So you have a total of 5 different torch versions to pick from per torch kind, if that makes sense. Also, just so you know, this is not a texture replacer, so make sure to grab mods like, for example, Embers HD or XD to get the most out of this spectacular mod. Now, from fire to water, we've got the next mod, Splashes of Storms by Power of 3. If there ever was something missing from the rainy weathers in-game, it's this. Splashes and ripples. The rain will no longer mysteriously evaporate from existence when it reaches the ground. With this mod, you'll see each individual splash as the raindrops hit the ground, at least in areas with uncovered surfaces, also affecting other objects and characters with accurate splashes. As for the bodies of water, they'll be riddled with real displacement-based ripples. This mod is a straight-up must for any and everyone. It's implemented perfectly, looks great, makes sense, and adds a ton to those gloomy rainy days, making the rain feel more impactful and wet. I've always found myself feeling really immersed during rainy weather, and this obviously does not fail to add to that immersion, rather enhancing it. As for the technicalities, splashes will only spawn in places visible to the player, naturally saving you and me some valuable frames. As a little extra bonus, you might be interested in installing Rudy's fix for Splashes of Storms and E&B as well. But moving on to another one of Rudy's essential mods, there's Rudy Fix for Smoke. And it's a fix that fixes something you might not have ever thought needed fixing. I'm talking about smoke. Yes, cause in-game smoke, whether it's objects like chimneys or braziers, always go in one direction, which is why Rudy was like, no, and made this mod that makes it so that the behavior of the smoke is influenced by the direction and power of the wind. So in those windy, stormy weathers, you might see the smoke of braziers quite heavily leaning towards a certain direction. And naturally, during those calm, clear sunny days, the smoke behavior will be more relaxed. As I mentioned at the start of the video, these are the kind of smaller mods that add a little bit of mwah, know what I'm saying? Some good old visual immersion that makes our in-game surroundings make more sense and feel more real. A solution to something you may have never thought needed to be fixed in the first place. If that doesn't tell you how far Skyrim modding has come through all these years, then I don't know what will. We're at a point where mod authors are able to point to the most minuscule problems in the game world and fix them, and I'm totally here for it. And I'm also totally here for the mod Ashbound Solstheim Revisited by Rusi, taking on another problem that needs fixing. This time in Solstheim, where naturally, as a result of the constant ash plumes of the Red Mountain, you'd think to see most of the surroundings covered in ash. Spoiler alert, they're not. Or at least not in the way that would satisfy the ultimate connoisseurs I know some of you are. That is until now, as Ashbound Solstheim Revisited, a remake of Ashbound Solstheim Enhanced, adds the needed ash to a ton of buildings and objects on the island. A neat mix of heavily covered, lightly covered and uncovered clutter to simulate items sitting outside for different lengths of time, possible through the base object swapper. It covers most locations with extra care given to the major inhabited areas, like Raven Rock and Tel Mithrin. And it's this incredible extra care we can also see in the mod. What are you trying to... Too many mods? What? I swear we've only gone through like 4. No, hear me out, okay. Cathedral 3D cover plant was 1. We can basically count animated water lily and animated tentacles as 1 because they've both got the words animated in them. So that's 2. As for Dovanique's diverse death bells, it's a mod that contains the word death in the mod title. Yeah. And death is a bad word. Very bad. Which means it doesn't count to the total. What do you mean stop lying? I'm not lying. This makes total sense. Alright, got it. 7 mods. Okay. I guess we'll just round off the video. Okay, come on. Let's go. Psych! Although at this point, 9 minutes in, I doubt you really give a fuck either. So please allow me to shove this next mod down your throat like little mod slut you are. Here's the incredible Debella's Blessing, The 9 Cities by Lilson. An all-in-one remake of the mod author's previous work of overhauling the female NPCs of Skyrim. Currently overhauling 173 NPCs from the 9 cities. We're talking everyone in Solitude, Windhelm, Riften, Markarth, Winterhold, Morthul, Falkreath, and Dawnstar. From the richest of the richest in the world of nobility to the modest, hardworking people on the streets. The mod perfectly overhauls these people in a way that encapsulates their identity and doings into a physical manner, not shying away from showing realistic irregularities and features many would deem unattractive. Something many of the popular female overhauls certainly don't do, as they turn everyone into heavenly waifus, which, you know, if you like that, I respect it honestly. But if you are to try out the Bella's Blessing, you might just come to see how there are other ways to make these characters' appearances pop with uniqueness without solely relying on beauty. Don't get me wrong, the work done here is definitely beautiful, not just in a way that there are characters made to look quite beautiful, but also in the beauty of the passion put into the ugly. Take Legate Rikke of the Imperials' scar, for example. While not the most flattering thing you'll ever see, it tells us all about what kind of person she is, as a serious leader of war who's been through some shit. Over here in the face of the young maid Erdi, you can kinda see how she's dealing with puberty. And then there's of course the elderly woman of Skyrim, which I've honestly never seen another mod handle better than this one. It's spot on. And that can pretty much be said about all aspects of this mod. Unique looking characters, both beautiful and ugly, as well as everything in between, as well as elves that look really good with this kinda elfy and magical vibe to them. So if you want to up your Skyrim female visuals, then this is it. And this is also it for this video. In actuality, I'm not sure just how many mods we ended up going through, but if we just allow ourselves to abandon all forms of rational mathematical thinking for just this very moment, we can see that it makes total sense to just round off the amount to 7. Anyways, as always, make sure to check out the mods linked in the description and endorse them on Nexus to let the modders know just how much you appreciate their work. If you also appreciate whatever it is this video ended up being, please consider subscribing, and should you just have a couple extra seconds to spare, please like the video and leave a comment. Just type whatever, opinions on the mods, how your day's going, pancake recipes, it's all appreciated. This has been Gim, may your road lead you to warm sands everyone. See ya, peace.